Well, that dovetails really nicely because I opened with mastering the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension is time or timing. So the pieces become clear and you know where they fit. But it's more difficult to sense when they fit.
Mm-hmm. Morning, Pascal. It's either now or later.
Yeah.
But boy, do we want to fill in everything else. If not, force it now.
Yeah. There's that assumption and that training. Clean your room. Now.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Pascal.
Morning, Pascal.
How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, we're working on mastering the fourth dimension this morning.
Oh, yeah. Right up my alley.
Yeah.
And it came to that we've mentioned mastery in here before many times, and knowing that it culturally it lands awkwardly for most.
Mm-hmm. Scares people.
Yeah. Funny, right? How a word scares people.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig shared still resistance to the word, which is a scaring of it. It's like, yeah, I know. How else would we look into it? But by bringing awareness back to the intention. It's a journey. It's where we're going. It's a refocus of the intention.
Yeah, I'll speak for myself. Like, I feel like I'm not good enough, so I cannot call myself a master of anything.
That's right. You're not there yet. That is mastery.
Oh, wow. Connecting that with not good enough.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
And how a genius would see it that way. Or
Well, that not, yeah,
opposite.
that not good enough keeps you from stepping into your true nature.
Mhm.
It's actually an obstacle to your truth. Hmm.
So
The soul
life.
carries mastery into this life,
Mhm.
certain kinds of mastery. That's part of your genius.
Uniqueness.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we can't, come to a place where we can give it credit, give it its own credit.
Mhm.
Hmm. Acknowledging your own magnificence.
Yeah, it's almost like I cannot get there because I'm not even validating what I've done already.
Yeah,
Mhm. Wow.
because I was going to say I've experienced validation in this group like never before.
And even if someone tried to validate me, because I don't validate myself, I brush it away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh no, it's not me. No, no, no.
Yeah. How could that be me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is one silly way to never arrive, to never get there. One way to never get there. Wow.
This truth is inside yourself, but you can't see it by yourself.
Mhm. No. Well, it's very hard to test, notice your patterns by yourself in your own silence, your own talking, your own self-talk,
Yeah. Yeah.
in your own words, in your head, not out loud. That's the magic. Expression.
Hmm.
Expression without judgment. That is freedom. That is mastery. That is peace. Expression without judgment. My phrase for the day was peace beyond understanding.
Hmm. Peace beyond words.
Beyond
Yep.
knowing. Peace beyond knowing.
Kind of unexpected
Mhm.
peace.
Yeah, the Bible uses the term peace that passes understanding.
Yeah.
Beyond, it's
phrase.
beyond understanding. Yeah.
Passes. It passes. Which means goes through, around, by, beyond.
Oh, wow. I'm getting so much today. This is so awesome. That's an open definition. Oh, boy.
Hmm. Mastering genius. Thinking about the times I've used the word, it's to just acknowledge the resistance to it. It's like, yes, I say it out loud. Yes, I'll have resistance to it. And the other reason I use it is for awareness, to bring the intention back to it. And I think we do that for any word, any phrase, to some degree.
My question is like, how do you know you're at the level of mastery?
Yeah, one of the things we said already, Pascal, is that you never get there.
But people call themselves mastered of.
Yeah.
What would you call yourself a master of?
I'm a master of gathering information.
Great. Is that peaceful?
Yeah.
Wonderful. There's your mastery. Will you ever get there?
No. Because I always want to know more.
Yeah.
Never enough.
Yeah, exactly.
We think it's some destination when it's just the process. That's all mastery is. What's beyond mastery?
I think beyond mastery is surrendering, peace,
Mhm.
calmness.
Hmm.
I'm gonna butcher this word, but virtuoso, virtuoso. What do you say?
Virtuoso.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
The point is, there's something beyond mastery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only when there's something beyond it can we be, oh, look, I could have that. Because then there's something next. Our unconscious is so afraid of the end, any completion.
Yeah. The idea of mastery has a real magnetic pull to it. It's enticing.
In the right frame.
Yeah.
Well, we've looked up to it for all the generations. It's an admiring, which is the pull, yeah, for me.
You know, I've looked up to a lot of masters in my lifetime, and quite frankly, most of them have been really disappointing.
Do you think it's because they have a big ego, a big ego?
Well, it's that definitely has something to do with it. Because the truth is that self-consciousness has been ruling the world for a very long time. And certain people rise to the top of self-consciousness and know how to exploit it, because so many others are there in the same space. It just perpetuates the delusion. A lot of today's gurus are actually making things worse.
Yeah, I feel they're more influencer than master.
Yeah.
Well, my word for today is radiating. Radiating the light.
Mm.
And I'm very excited. Like, I found a documentary that is on Gaia. I don't know if you guys know what Gaia is, but
Yeah.
it's called In the Beginning There Was Light.
It's a channel.
Yeah, it's like, I would call it probably spiritual Netflix on steroids.
Yep. Good description.
That's what I would say. Anyway, like, there's a documentary, it's called In the Beginning There Was Light. And
Yep.
I just watched the preview. If I have the chance, I'll watch it tonight, but it's about like feeding on the light.
Yes.
So a lot of people that they're eating less and less food, but they're feeding with the light and breath.
Yep. Yeah, that's what trees do. Photosynthesis.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking light energy and synthesizing it into different forms of energy. And our bodies actually do the same thing.
Well, we all do that. Like, I don't know, like if I go to vacation and then I'm out in the sun all day, I'm not that hungry. I'm not gonna eat the big steak at night. There's no way.
Yeah.
So we all do it at a certain level, but some people just, they only eat light.
Yep.
So I found this pretty fascinating. Okay, I got something to share because I'm sun gazing right now. And when I close my eyes, I see this, it's usually green. It's like, it's not even a round shape. It's kind of like an odd shape, but like it's green. Sometimes it's moved to blue or red, sometimes purple. I don't know what it is, but it's moving. Like when I close my eyes, it's kind of move in my vision.
Yeah. Are you facing the sun when you're doing this?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's interesting because I've been doing that the last few days too.
Oh, I was just waiting for this. Like seriously, like in the winter, like, you know, we see the sun, but like sometime I'll stop on the side of the road and I'll be, if I see the sun, like it's just going up, but usually it's too high already. So I cannot sun gaze, but this time of the year is just perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and how much like the sun is radiating, and then like, it's amazing what you can see into the light.
Yep. There's somebody that suggested to me a couple days ago that if you want to be able to see auras,
Yeah.
that you spend 5 or 10 minutes every morning when the sun comes up, and every evening when the sun goes down, you spend 5 or 10 minutes
Yeah.
staring at the sun like that with your eyes closed, and in 10 days or so you'd be able to see auras all the time.
Mm. Well, I see auroras around trees.
Yeah.
That's an easy one for me. You know, you just look at the top of the tree and then like kind of look like, it's almost like a shadow almost.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But on people, I haven't been able to yet. Here's a practice I can take.
Yeah, it is a practice. Yep.
So if it gets too loud, just mute me, Jesse.
Will do, Pascal.
Got like an older truck today, so the same as yesterday. That's why I wasn't talking as much. This thing is too
Thank
loud.
you.
What is your word for today, Craig? Do you have one or a phrase or?
Yeah,
you
my
already
phrase
shared?
my phrase was mastering the fourth dimension.
Oh,
So I was
okay.
just gonna bring that up because it wasn't really about mastery, although we talked about that quite a bit.
Mhm.
But the fourth dimension is timing, mastering timing. So it's like what I've been experiencing the last little while here is about getting really real clarity around pieces of things and knowing that they fit, that those pieces fit into the puzzle. But then the big question is when is it time? When is the time right to actually set that piece in the puzzle?
Only you know.
Well, no, not true.
No.
No, that's part of the cosmic intelligence. Like there's a lot to that. There's like you mentioned before, the gathering information. Gathering information. And when it shows up, doesn't just because it shows up doesn't mean you have to engage with it. When it shows up. So for me, that looks like a lifetime of gathering pieces of the field. And synthesizing those pieces when the time is right, and playing with those pieces when the time is right, and knowing when.
What is the right time?
Yeah. But there's a whole sensitivity that's developed around all of that.
Is it like you're waiting for the majority of people to be ready for it?
No, not waiting for anybody else. No, it's got nothing to do with anybody else.
So it has nothing to do with humanity.
Yeah, because only the cosmos knows when the time is right. Like it's a it's a very well, that's probably why it's the fourth dimension, is because it requires an extremely broad view of everything. a very wide sensitivity.
So what guidelines could you use then?
Well, there aren't any, that's the problem. Because timing has to do with with the truth of everyone's free choice. So it's very dependent. It's very dependent on everyone's choices. You know, like what we were talking about a few days ago about the fullness of time.
So then why does why does there have to be being a right time then?
Because it's all part of unfolding.
Right.
That kind of wisdom comes from a higher level. And the fourth dimension is the bridge between the third and the fifth.
And what's the fifth?
Don't know what to call it. But we all know what it is. It's beyond the fourth.
It's beyond time.
Beyond time.
Beyond dimensions. Coordinates, it's beyond location, it's beyond, is it beyond space?
Well, space is the
Not outer space, space. In reality, space is all three locations. So space, then time, Good. I haven't considered past those two much.
Yeah. Well, most of us haven't.
What I get with it is the experience, the emotion, the feeling of it. That's what sends with me. Awareness then. And the timing I got is that's all you need to know for now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because the power is in the questions we ask and then listening to the answer we get.
Yeah. Yeah.
So taking complex into simple is breaking them down from everything, anything, and nothing that it is into two things. And when we get good at two, then we can add a third.
Yeah.
So a guideline that I find works well when I use it for me, considering time, is sometimes I get frustrated with timing. And when I can remember, it just allows information to come in differently. Or I can move through it with peace. First one is it do I need to know now? Like, is it something that's now or is it later? Why would I need to know anything more than that? My skill's not any better to know, to be able to decipher anything other than that yet. Why? Because I haven't practiced it enough.
Yeah. But what's behind that is the enticement to actually practice those skills.
Weird, I got kicked out for some reason. All good, I'm back.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean and I think the other one that will work is that it's we always get something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that has to be worth something like that. Why that out of everything?
Yeah.
Out of anything and out of nothing, we got something. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's quite profound, actually.
And we don't give it in tendencies, or tendencies is to not give it any credit. Why? Because I'm not a genius. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. What I come up with, I'm not good enough. This counter genius. Even if it's now, it's going to be later too.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
That's progress. Even if it isn't now, something will be later, but it's not going to look like the information I got today, because later on I'm going to add more to it as I move through it.
In the fifth dimension, it's both. It's both now and later and past.
It's the foundation of all 4 layers below it.
Yep. Yep.
You know, it would the point is to come up with something that works for you.
How do you know what works for you?
Right. I'm going to mute you, Pascal.
Okay, sounds good.
A great question. Trial and error. How do you know it works for you? Question.
Yeah, and I really don't like that term, works for me. How do I know what works for me?
Cause and effect, right? Intention, cause and effect, intention. That's how we know things work.
Yeah, but what do you mean things work?
Intention, cause and effect. Something from nothing and anything, right? In action.
But that's
And
not
feedback.
the question I'm asking.
Good. Well, what a question is it then?
Well, it's like works for me. Like, is that effectiveness, or is that what the heck is that?
I was working inside of the question of what to do with timing. So they're connected, they're underneath, they're through.
It's work for me, evidence of some kind.
And so you've done something when you working with time. So time has been an intention. You've been putting attention to a focus on. And you've noticed you get different answers.
different answers about timing, you mean?
Mhm. Well, I mean, that's what you've told me. I'm just going off of the words you've used. More specifically, right timing.
Yeah.
How do I know the right timing is a question. Is a cause, it is a cause, and there's been some effects. How has those effects worked for you? The mechanics, that's all it is the mechanics. That's fifth dimension.
Yeah,
And what I'm
certainly doesn't
getting,
certainly doesn't make sense.
peace beyond all understanding, right?
Yeah.
So there it is tied to having to make sense of it.
My point is, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Pattern. No, it doesn't have to be tied to timing. Doesn't have to be tied to making sense.
No, I agree.
But that's the prevailing pattern
For sure. For sure.
in all of society and all of humanity. It's like when you get an impulse, you act.
Mhm.
It's very reactive.
That is timing too, you bet. And mostly, as it appears to me, intentionless.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the part that Chris Duncan doesn't teach.
As fast as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is still an hour later. An hour later, an now and later, however you want to look at it. You know, I mean, and always in the pattern, right? So the pattern is there. Everyone wants it now.
Yep.
And frustrated if I don't have it now, so I'm not, why even go through the journey?
Yeah.
Same as Pascal. It's like, oh, I can't have mastery, so I'm not even going to try. I'm not a mastery. I'm not a master, so I'm not even going to try. That's not your words, Pascal, but it was like in the using of it. The underlying pattern is in society. Oh, and then we grant people, it's like, oh, that person's there. And we don't honor their journey. And most people aren't done either if we call them a master of what they're doing. We just happen to intersect at that moment of intersection. We forget that there's a background and a future. A past and a future. Both that we make up for them and for us. Yeah. We don't even make up, we imply it. We imply it as a truth. It's even it's more dangerous.
Make a principle for living out of it.
Mhm. Well, it becomes a creation, right?
Wow. The art of contemplation is a huge part of this.
Mhm. Oh, that's good.
contemplate my whole body is in on it.
Contemplate your whole body is what?
My whole body is in on it.
Ah,
Like it's my body that's contemplating. It's not my mind.
yes, yes. That's right. What is it? The mind is really the mind is quiet in contemplation.
Yeah.
Ooh, the best for the mind is to ask the questions. That is the purpose of the mind. It could be the purpose of the mind.
Good.
Put the pieces together. Pull something from nothing and from anything and everything. Contemplation takes place in peace. Contemplation is discovering coulds anyway, isn't it?
That is. I contemplate best. This is me, but I contemplate best when I'm actually doing something mindless, like doodling.
Yeah.
Or walking. Or
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, I painted my house. It's I covered an awful lot of ground while I was doing it. Looking back on it, the timing for that project was right.
Mm. No, what is the guide for our contemplation?
It's better for me when I just surrender to it. Unguided. Open.
But and in that, then timing wouldn't matter.
Timing's taken right out of the picture.
Mhm. Thinking about it, it was like well, true choices, right, would come into the guidelines for contemplation as a framework, because there's something we care about, and only when we care about something do we put a time to it.
Yeah, we assign an urgency to it.
Go back to painting your house. It was time.
But it wasn't time because the house needed painting. It was time because I needed an activity to contemplate in.
Yeah. And out of everything, that was the one that you chose.
Yeah.
How cool.
Was a very gestating experience. Let's put it that way.
So all the spaces of time, past, present, future, urgency, speed, frequency. What other distinctions, what other words go with time?
Oh. The frequency dictates when the time is right. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh wow. Wait for the frequency. Wait for the tuning.
Frequency tuning.
Wait for the harmony.
Mhm. Ah. The tuning of now, the tuning of later.
You know, I used to tune pianos, believe it or not. And
Doesn't surprise me, Craig, the more that I learn about you.
no, I know it doesn't. But always been fascinated by sound. I mean, that's one of the main reasons. But I've been fascinated by everything. So that's that kind of goes without saying too. But you know, on a piano, all the bass notes are a single string or a single wire. But as you move higher, there's pairs, and then there's triples. So part of tuning a piano is you tune the singles all the way up, and then you have to go back and bring the duals and the triples into unison. Very interesting. So tuning has a lot to do with that. Tuning has a lot to do with timing, as I'm just starting to see right now.
Order. There was an order to it too.
Yeah, but the order is in the order is in the frequency as well. So it's like when humanity is at a certain frequency, when the collective is at a certain frequency, then certain things unfold. And as that frequency changes a little bit, then other harmonies unfold, other tunings.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's good. New definitions of mastery.
Yeah. Well, and I noticed my body's been going through the same thing, like the same kind of attunement. You know, it's like the language of the recode. You know, the correct time, correct way, correct method, correct everything. Of course, right in the middle of that sentence, a dove came along to say hi. Perching on a roof and looking at me. Oh boy.
No, it was, I can't remember which book it was in, but it's something about habits, right?
Yep.
But it was a story about I think he was the author, and he used to tune grand pianos for the big Elton John, things like that.
Yeah.
And it would take him 8 hours, at least 8 hours.
Yep.
And he said the more that he just mindlessly like put all his tools out and just got into the machine, got into it, he said he shaved hours off of it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
for the purpose of shaving hours off of it, but just his way was like, I was in tune with the instrument.
Yeah. I can really relate to that.
It's like that's what our mastery of life is getting in tune with our instrument.
It has its own temperament,
Mm,
It
I
has its
don't.
own personality. Every
I know my
piano
body
has its own
does.
personality. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the same way. It's like the fine tuning of your body is yours. It's
Mhm.
unique. See, maybe this is what's occurring in my fine tuning. I'm just coming to realize it right now. That it's going to be about timing. It's going to be about correctness. It's going to be about the fullness of time, sensing that tuning, knowing when.
Oh,
Wow, what a
version
superpower
of
to
it.
have.
It's a
Say again,
version of
another version.
It's another version of expectations. Timing is.
Yeah. So it's another. It can be another form of agenda.
Mhm. It is in this world, in the 3D world. It's a big driver, and man, does that throw us out of tune. Throws us out of peace, away from peace. Timing throws us out of peace because there's the expectation that it has to go a certain way. Judging when it doesn't.
This might sound hilarious, but I know I missed out on a lot of miracles that were just about to show up. I was married to somebody who kept jumping the gun all the time. It drove me nuts. is usually usually an impulse action is motivated by fear of some kind, like fear of missing out, or fear of danger, or that's very primal. Well, fear itself is primal. It's also very low frequency. Yeah, that's interesting too. Trapped in frequency. Trapped in a fear loop. Yeah, I'm enjoying writing this book, boys. This is getting really, really deep.
That was, yeah, and that was, that's a reaction, a response again. Fear is just that. So that urgency, that responding to it, and I'm not contemplating even, not allowing something to just be there and aware of it for the moment.
Here's what fascinates me about that is that I got trapped in a paralysis response, which is a response that's about stopping. It's about freezing. It's about not doing anything. It's actually about being unable to do anything. It's lose your ability to move. But it's a place where contemplation is developed. And the biggest challenge of my life has been refusing to stop. Just not allowing myself to stop. I would rest and I would slow down, but I wouldn't stop. Until I was forced to stop. Stopping actually was what actually broke the pattern. So right now in my life, I'm tuning to stop. And feeling into that, feeling into stop. Feeling into stopping time. Tuning. Oh my. You know, when you tune an instrument, you start with a constant. Constant is a tuning fork. So for me, that was a tuning fork that was tuned to A. That's how everybody that tunes pianos does that. They have a tuning fork that tunes to A. And oh wow, this is big too. About over 100 years ago, there was, and I don't know who decided this, but the powers that be at the time decided that every instrument should be tuned to an A at a frequency of 440. And because of that, all the music that we've grown up with has been tuned to A440, and A440 bypasses all the solfeggio frequencies. Okay, Pascal, you'll know what I'm talking about because you talked about solfeggio frequencies. But yeah, but A440 takes out all the solfeggio frequencies. So the music that we've heard growing up doesn't have rejuvenating frequencies in it because they're all bypassed. So there's a big move these days to get the A standard changed from 440 to a frequency of 444 because that tuning includes all the solfeggio frequencies. So that's one of the things that need to happen. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I just realized that your standard, your frequency standard that you tune your whole piano to has to be the correct one. That's the guideline that you were talking about, Jesse. The guideline is your source frequency. It's the first, yeah. It's the one that everything else is tuned off of. It's your tuning fork, so to speak. Wow.
Now, what is the highest dimension? You know, we were talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, there's so many of them you can't count them.
There's got to be like a fundamental. Well, probably. What I was wondering is the top one of those that core?
Uh, no. But everything that's created has a frequency, has a I guess you could call it an optimum frequency.
What was there for me was love is ours.
Yeah.
Or a
Yeah.
version of love. I mean, love is whatever word you want to put
Yeah.
in that, but
Yeah.
like tuning all of us to that, which is
Yeah. So what's happened? Yeah. What's happened over years with respect to the human race is that we've just gotten more and more out of tune with our fundamental, we're in dissonance with our own natural harmony. And I call that low frequency. I call it dark and heavy energy. And for some reason or other, our bodies store that. Like we store trauma, we store fear, we store it in our physiology, different places, mostly in our muscles. This is the genius of love.
or whatever is boundless expansion.
Yeah. And it's how do you retune? How do you retune the frequency of all of humanity?
Everyone does it themselves.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
From
So
the
as
inside,
I'm
from
tuning
the
myself,
inside
I'm
out.
tuning the whole. Yeah, as I'm tuning myself, I'm retuning myself, and and submitting and allowing that all of humanity is being retuned as well. So it's kind of like when I said when I said you dampen out all the extraneous, all the second and thirds strings for each note, and you just work on the individual ones. Boom, 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 boom. And then once those individual ones are done, then you can go back and you can unison. You bring the second and the second and the third strings into unison with the first one. Okay, so people like you all and I, who are having conversations around this right now, we are tuning the primary ones. We're tuning the first ones. So that others can tune to us. right now we're learning what the standard is, what the tuning fork standard is. We're learning what to tune to, rediscovering what to tune to.
Playing with and creating the shortcuts.
Yep.
Creating momentum.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I remember when I tuned my first piano, there was a hell of a lot of experimentation around that. And it took me a long time. And it wasn't because I was tuning for Elton John.
Is it for your kids?
I think that, yeah, I think the first piano I tuned was, or no, was it? Yeah, it might have been our home piano, the one that, the one that I cried over when I was a kid.
Before there was YouTube, huh?
Oh, you what?
Mhm.
Hey, that was back when the TVs were black and white, and there was only, I think we only had one channel at the time that came in through the aerial. But people don't remember those anymore either. Hey, I'm
I
old
do.
enough. Yeah, do you? Good. I'm old enough to remember when the stripes, the lines in the middle of the road were white.
Mm. Yeah, I don't recall that one.
Yeah.
But my family, my family tended to live 30 years behind the normal anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Oh yeah. The glory of being a preacher's kid, eh?
oh man.
Yeah.
You always needed to go back.
Oh yeah, I know.
Back to the good old days.
I can't count the number of times when that whole environment convinced us to get rid of even our TV.
Oh God.
Like there was a number of times.
The poor cable guy that ran the cable to the house faced my mom.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh wow.
Still don't have cable. The line's there, but the line's there,
but yeah.
The line's to the power pole, but
yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up with I think I graduated with 4 channels.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I grew up in a little town in Saskatchewan, right? About 1,800 people. I mean, it was a small enough town so that you knew what everybody had for breakfast. And
that was the size of my town too. And Dad was a preacher there. There were several churches, but
yeah. My parents weren't preachers or anything like that. But anyway, there was 3 things that were off limits to us. One was the pool hall. One was the theater. Like a little town like that actually had a movie theater in it.
Yeah, we never did.
And school dances. And I've to this day, I have not seen the interior of the pool hall or the theater or the and I never went to any school dances, including my graduation. So weird stuff. What's really funny is the guy who used to be my next door neighbor is actually running the theater there now. So one of these days I'm going to get back there and I'm going to I'm going to have a popcorn. I'm going to rent the whole place out or something. I'm going to watch a damn movie in there.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to rent it all. You would probably be alone.
Yeah, well, could be. Yeah. So anyways, it's really funny. But,
It is fun.
you know, and it's really funny that I ended up in the movie business, right? So that's even funnier yet. So
The movie, well, a whole nother aspect that I haven't heard about is the movie business.
yeah, yeah. My work was even nominated for an Oscar.
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. And that was just before they started doing weird stuff with computer graphics. And the movie that I worked on was all analog. We did everything the hard way. Well, the hard way, the artistic way. Let's put it that way. And yeah,
The creative way.
the creative way. Yeah. Yep. We built it out of our heads, or actually out of our hearts, as I realized later. Yeah, me and another technician. He was from Australia. We spent 3 weeks perfecting the soft edge mask, or soft edge mat, I guess you'd call it. But it was we had this assignment where we had to make a composite sequence where you had an airplane, like a jet airplane, a passenger plane that was silver in color, and superimpose that over a cloud and sky background, and make it look like it was a real thing. So, and it was so awesome that they used it to open the movie. Yeah, you couldn't tell that it wasn't a real aircraft in the sky. It was perfect.
It wasn't Star Wars kind of like that when they first came out? Star Wars, they did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. That's how I got into it, actually. Yeah, that was the summer of '77. I just in May of that year, I received a letter from the university I had been attending that told me I couldn't come back because of it actually turned out to be a computer error, but that's another thing. So anyway, so for the first big disappointment and failure of my life, actually, because I was an honor student and I'd always aced everything I'd ever done, and like I was a friggin' golden boy as far as achieving stuff. Like I achieved more before my 16th birthday than most people have achieved in their life, for heaven's sakes. But anyway, so I got this letter from the university saying that I couldn't come. So I was bad. That hit me like a brick. And about a month later, I was at youth group, and I don't remember exactly why, but my lab partner from one of my classes in university showed up at that youth group that night. And she had just gone to this crazy movie where there was these strange characters and they were robots and doing all this kind of stuff. And she was kind of mimicking these characters. And, she said what their names were, but I didn't remember any of that. So anyways, I think I went, she was so excited about this movie, and I said, okay, I got to go to this movie. And I think I went with her and a bunch of other people from youth group that, like, the next week. And I remember it was Star Wars, of course. And I remember standing up at the end of that movie and looking at everybody and pointing the screen and saying, I want to do that. Like I actually set an intention, and I made a statement. I made a choice statement that that's what I was going to do. And about 10 years later, my work was nominated for an Oscar doing exactly that. So that's kind of the way that went. And it's kind of freaky the way I got there, but that's part of the story. I was a Canadian kid that was like 3,000 miles away from Hollywood. So miracles happen. Don't you know?
I think Jesse, you were mute.
Thanks, Pascal. I was just thinking timing. Yeah, timing.
Well, exactly. I mean, my whole life is a story of timing.
Well,
And
everyone's, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I think that's true. As I explored this more, I realized that yeah, it's all about timing. So, like, why did I sit down over 30 years ago and design applications like Zoom? Why did I do that? And why did it take 30 years before it actually came into reality?
Mm-hmm.
And all that stuff really fascinates me. Good morning. And what fascinates me is that the timing now is that the truth of all that is coming into consciousness. Because I mean, it was always true, but I was totally unaware of all of the intricate stuff that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. I mean, it's like it's miraculous all the way through. It's like it's unbelievable.
Yep. When we look backwards, can we see that when we look forwards?
Yeah. Well, and you start to get some inkling as to what you've been preparing for.
Yeah.
And what you're ready for, and what you've been practicing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm consciously practicing the same stuff I've already been doing, but doing it consciously is like so powerful now.
Doing it attuned.
Yeah, doing it attuned. Well, realizing that realizing that all of that was energy, and all what we're dealing with right now is energy as well. Energy and frequency. So it's like, whoa. Okay, and the thing is, my being already knows how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But what my awareness doesn't. That's right. That makes any sense.
All of us, I think every one of us does.
Yeah. The fun part of this is learning. Is learning to do the same stuff, but do it in awareness.
Mm-hmm. It is and that's what I, like as we worked this morning, it was not having not having a description for a fifth dimension, it was like, that's the word that came to me.
What, awareness?
Like the fifth is an awareness. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah. Oh,
makes
that's
sense,
good.
right?
That's good, Jesse. That's really good.
It's like, so the next, like, that's the next level for me. And part of like what I was working with was that is like, as we move through them, we'll master different levels, different layers of them, but we're always moving through all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
And
yeah.
how else would
yeah,
you experience the other ones? Right?
We-
It's like, that's
yeah,
how we move.
we integrate them all.
Yeah, integrate, great word.
Yeah. We act multi-dimensionally,
Mm-hmm. It's a
incorporating the fifth and the sixth.
mhm. Like I haven't even thought about like the sixth. I've heard the seventh as love, so it's like that's what I can aim towards.
Yeah.
Because I can't look at like if I don't know that there's a next one, right? There's no intention to look for it.
Yeah.
The awareness.
But that's also the domain of I don't know.
Mm,
So it's like
That's why that works so
it's
well,
there.
too.
You know it's there, but you don't have to know.
You're right. That was my top level. I don't know was my top level. That's so cool.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, exactly. So the trick is you don't put a ceiling in there of any kind.
Yeah.
You know, not even a glass ceiling.
Oh, how cool. How cool
Yeah.
that experience comes back again right there to be like, oh, that's what that meant. And man, that was months ago, right?
Yeah.
All a metaphor. My metaphor.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that power for me has gotten to the place where I don't want to know.
Yeah. And with you.
Because
there's so much
there's
joy
power in not knowing.
There's so much
And so much
there's
joy.
so much peace and joy. And I don't know, it's like, what's next? And it's like, if that isn't expansive, if that isn't momentum, compared to what everyone else is living, oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, peace without understanding, peace beyond needing to know.
Yeah. See, and the human beings were actually designed to live from there.
Mhm.
We're designed to live from there.
Well, I say that's like where we've been there before was like in a child who goes there.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't we all want to be like a child like again? You know, it's like that is, they live in that realm. The best I can tell. And I'm no expert with children, but my goodness.
Yeah.
They're a whole lot happier than the adults I know.
Yeah.
If happy is the measure, which unfortunately it seems to be. Not unfortunately, it's just it's meaning unfortunately means that's the achievement that everyone wants to go for.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is that's been labeled as childish. As if childish is a bad thing.
Well, it was when you had to work.
Oh, yeah.
Work hard, right? When you needed to get to the factory or produce the farm, right? You can't be a child.
Where independence is king. Yeah. Where childish is a bad word, and so is interdependence. And politically, so is communism. So That's kind of interesting.
So as I don't know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you know, they're painted with the same brush.
I mean, I find it fascinating. You know, I'm working with engineers and we're locked in one area. It's like so in a division problem, right? You have emissions over barrels of oil, right? Emissions over barrels of oil. So how do you make how do you make that number go down? There's two ways, yet we only think of one.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
You lower the top number or you increase the bottom number.
right.
And our strategy is when we lower the top number, our bottom number drops too.
Right.
That's not a good situation. So when we do the one strategy we know, the one strategy we can think of, in all reality, we don't change that number.
Yeah,
Because they both drop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So logical.
Weird. All right, man. It's just simple division.
Yeah, yeah.
But wait, it can't be that easy because I need to be spending billions of dollars on a new technology that probably won't work for another 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, why would we do something as simple as that?
Well, you know, that's the power of scarcity as well, right?
Hmm.
You know, that you got to spend money to make money.
Well, you do. And I'm just saying you just need to start spending it with me. Fun, fun, fun. Anything, Pascal, before we close out? Craig?
Yeah, like the word that came to mind, like for time, frequency, for me it's precision, being precise.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And sometimes like we don't get what we want. So say like the frequency is like, oh, I really want this, and then like I'd love to have that. So the frequency say like it's 432, but then like we have self-doubt or misbelief that interfere that frequency, and then we're not as precise as it can be. But yeah, like really like the fine tune of the body, fine tune of, you know, it's like dealing with our pattern, like put awareness on the patterns and all that. So yeah, that's what we're doing every morning, right? Like we're putting awareness on our patterns, so we're aware of them. So when they come in the way of what we want, we're like, oh, wait a minute, that's just my pattern. That's not who I am.
Oh, wow. That's a key one right there too. I am not my pattern.
I'm not my pattern.
In fact, the pattern doesn't belong to me, so it's not my pattern either. It's a pattern.
Yeah.
The pattern is not personal. Wow.
Yeah, because like when you were talking about your piano and stuff, like it has to be like precise, right? It cannot be just like, oh, I'm just gonna tune it you know? No. So yeah, that's what came to mind. So
That's great.
being precise of what we want
Yeah.
and put awareness on what's in the way and recognize that it's not our pattern, it's just a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna revise that a little bit to put awareness on what's in the way, so that we can address it and send it on its way, so that we can put our awareness on what we want again. Take the time to. I just got a message from Allie. Allie was doing, she actually called me at 3 o'clock this morning. So I gave her some stuff, but she had this big presentation she was making shortly after that. And she says, "Good day, just checking in. My event went so well. Yeah, it flowed and it was so much fun." So there you go.
Wonderful.
Whatever we're doing, it's working.
Mm. Mm.
Even though I don't like saying it that way, but it would be kind of funny to throw that in.
Yep. Making life better, right? Something like that.
Well, making it different.
Yeah.
You can decide later on whether it's better.
There you go.
To me, it doesn't matter anymore.
Subtle
Whether it's better.
changes.
Whether it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assessing it in the moment is not
Right.
has not been a very fruitful practice for me.
Good distinction between it. I agree. But every action is the same. We just don't know the feedback at the end.
Yeah.
Action is always the same. We just never know which one's going to be the one. And usually it's not the one, it's the combination of them all.
Well, it's also unusual to see the value right away.
Mm-hmm. So true. Yeah, we
There
look
always
for it.
is. There always is value.
When we're looking for it, rather than the validation
Yeah.
or worrying which one is right and not take any action.
Right.
Well, guys, thank you. What a wonderful morning.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yes, it has.
Yeah,
Great.
you as well, guys. Have
All
a good
right.
day.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Bye.
love.